Hello people, and welcome back to another little City Skylines mod showcase tutorial video. Today we're going to have a look at the update to the intersection marking tool. Now, we have covered the base functionality and the interface of intersection marking tool before on the channel. There is a video linked down below and pinned in the top right of the video. If you need to know how the interface works, what from and to points are referring to, how to copy and paste, there's a separate video for that. This video is looking at the update that has added the ability to add nodeless networks, props and trees onto our roads without using up any nodes or any prop counts. Really, some true mod black magic that is going on with the intersection marking tool's latest update. But if you'd like to know how to make this sort of stuff that's on screen right now, then please go and check out the intersection marking tool for dummies video. Again, it's linked down below. Today, we're going to have a look at the new updates. So let's have a look at this amazing update for the intersection marking tool, shall we? So of course, to access IMT, you can do Control and L, which will open it up for you, or you can find it in your unified UI. If you're without unified UI, it will be, I believe, down here. Yes, it's there, it's not on the road tab. So find intersection marking tool, whichever way you have it lined up. And then let's just draw in a simple line right here, okay? So we're going to add this one in. This adds in a new line for us. We are familiar with this. If you are not familiar with this interface and don't know how to use it, please go and watch the intersection marking tool for dummies. We cover all of this and how to work it. It might make a little more sense, and then watch this video afterwards. Under our style, we now have a few more options, including prop, tree, and decorative network. This is where things get very, very fun indeed. So each of these styles will correspond to something, right? So let's say we wanted to add some props. Now, these can be any props that you have downloaded. We can come into the prop asset. It will list everything for us in a scrollable menu, and we also have a search function up at the top as well, where I can search for a prop. So why don't we go for cracks number 3, okay? This will add in a line of cracked decals that we have within our pack, which can be amended by scrolling through their step to stretch them out. You can also scroll their probability, which will affect how many of them actually appear. You can rotate their angles if you like by clicking between the single and then the range ones, and again, just using your mouse wheel, or indeed you can manually type these values in as well. So up to you, personal preference, but again, props can be rotated and shifted. They can be shifted, further into the road if you like, and it's just crazy. This is so cool. And then there's also offsetting before and afterwards from each of the line as well. So kind of basic, kind of rudimentary, but it's a way of getting cracked decals which can be customized to spacings and probabilities along a road without you having to manually place them yourself. That's crazy, right? Super cool, really great functionality. There's also more that you can do as well. Let's go ahead and add in another line, again, which is currently dashed. So why don't we go for trees this time, okay? Got one of our tree asset. I think whilst we're in ILOS, it has to be a palm, right? So I can search for one of my California palms, which then gives me a row of California palms right in the tarmac. This obviously needs to be amended. Again, the probability value will dictate how many of those trees appear within the row. The step will increase their step, of course. Angle, you probably won't really notice too much with trees because they look the same from all angles anyway. And then we can shift them as well. You definitely want to shift this onto the dirt that would be nearby, okay? So let's go ahead and shift it off the road, make it a nice round 7 meter as well. You can also do elevation, which is really cool. Kind of sink the trees into the land, or indeed make them float if you're after some sort of weird vibes. But you can affect the height of the tree by bringing it down ever so slightly, which is really cool. And then again, scales will increase the scale, and offset will slide them left and right and left depending which value that you're changing. Again, all changeable by manually typing or scrolling with your mouse wheel. So incredibly cool, right? Just so, so good. So we can now do trees again without eating up any of the tree count. Not that the tree count is ever an issue for most of us, but it's extremely cool either way. Let's go ahead and add in another line. And this time I want this to be a decorative network. And let's go for, so much choice. What do you want to use? So of course, people that follow my channel will know that we have already once in Parliament hit the node count, and fences very much do take up part of the node count. but they don't when we do them like this. So fence-lined roads are some of my favourite things. I can now set up a line with the intersection marking tool. I can shift it back off of the road so it comes and lines up with the trees that we've just placed in. And then there you go. We now have a tree and farm fence lined road that is using up no trees and no node counts. The only node counts that are being used are the ones on the road itself. There's no nodes within the fencing. It is part of IMT. It's not there as a manual prop. If you try and delete the road, you cannot delete each individual one of these props. It's part of the road now. How cool. How amazing is this, right? This is so, so good. And you think, okay, yeah, well, this is pretty cool. And we can just copy and paste the entire junction over onto the next one. And then there you go. Our entire intersection marking, which is essentially prop marking, is now duplicated over onto the next set of road. I've been playing with this for a little bit, and even in a city as big and as asset heavy and as modded as ILOS is, there's not been any performance issues here. It's absolutely fine. It's not dropped the frame rate. There's been no drop in sim speed. Just truly wonderful. Right? What a game-changing update this is for the insertion marking tool. Huge fan of it. Also have another look at how useful this can be. Let's say, for example, you wanted to place down a part gate. Let's go ahead and throw that over there. We'll also come into IMT as well. Let's open it up. And then let's say that from here to here, I would like a little bit of zoo fencing. All right, so we'll come into networks. We'll select zoo fencing. Now, there's a few things we can do over here to this one. Again, we can use the shift value, of course, to move it around. I can also increase the width scale, which increases the width of the fencing, or indeed any decorative network. This is really cool. You can get some really thick walls in here. So now I can make it 1000% thickness on my zoo fence, which is some thick boy fence. Like this would have some pretty specific applications, but it's still cool that you can like increase the width of the network like that. Anyway, but let's shift it, okay? Let's shift it in line with our part gate, all right? And then we can do offset the after here, okay? And then we can just keep scrolling it until it aligns nicely with our part gate as it would if it was a regular network. And then there you go. All right. How amazing. How cool is this? So, so good. And again, you can just merge it in there. Again, you can even change the offset before as well if you wanted it to sort of not just go into the building like that. Then, of course, you can change all these values and it's just fantastic. Just so good. Just, the possible applications of this right now, okay? You can also add in a new rule. Again, rules are covered during our intersection marking tool for dummies video. Please go and check that out. And why don't we go for some palm plants? Actually, no, they're a little bit too big, aren't they? Let's go for something a little more subtle, something that we would actually use here. Yeah, basically like California palms again, right? It's what we use in ILOS all the time. Let's increase their step and then again their shift. Yep, there we go. Let's bring them in line with the fence. There we go. And then obviously I don't want them going through the building now because that looks ridiculous. So this is where our offset before comes into it. And we can maybe just change this to 15 meters, 20 meters maybe. There we go. All right, again, we can further offset them behind the fence if we don't want them in the front. Right, and then again, we can just see that that tree rule also wants to be offset after as well because the trees are bleeding into an area we don't want them to be within IMT. And there we go. Real simple zoo fence and palm pattern emanating out of a part gate without using any trees or any nodes at all. So we'll have a look at another example together of how this can be used. I have a perfect example here of node fencing against a farm field that we have over here in ILOS during our farm expedition. Been quite a while since we've been over this way. But of course, this fence here is using nodes, right? My arch enemy in this game. Just, oh yes, always fighting the node count. However, we can now do Control L to bring up intersection marking tool. And then let's draw in a line together, okay? So I'm going to have this to become a decorative network. I would like this to be farm fencing, and that's fantastic, right? We get some farm fencing. But again, it's in the road, and that looks ridiculous. So we need to shift it by scrolling our mouse wheel on the shift value, or indeed you can type it in yourself if you know the value already. Okay, I'm going to have it just slightly set back off of the pavement there, alright? Yes, my field asset is encroaching, but that can be changed with move it in a second. Fantastic, I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and add in another rule for this line here. Let's go for some trees, and I think I fancy perhaps some bushes. Let's go for a row of these, and again we want to shift them off of the road. And then with these, perhaps I'd like them a little bit closer, so I can reduce the step value. Maybe 2.5 meters would be great. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's add in another rule. And again, I'd like this to be perhaps some props. And maybe these props, I want them to be lights, for example. Maybe you're trying to light a slightly darker road. So let's go ahead and find, how about our retro avenue light, okay? Let's go for, again, shifting them off of the road. Now, there's way too many of these in my opinion, so I definitely want to increase the step value here to get rid of them. Or you could also do probability, which would reduce the amount as well, but I think it's easier just to do it with the step value. And now I have a nodeless fence next to my road. It's all part of IMT. There is no nodes used up. I can't individually delete any of these props. It's all controlled via IMT's interface. There's a little repeated bush pattern, and indeed some lights against here as well. The lights do come on during the night time, as you will see. They function as their regular actual prop counterpart. You know, they'll sit here against the road now and illuminate whatever asset you want. You can, again, do it with the decals like we looked at earlier. There's just so many endless possibilities now, and being able to reduce the rate at which we chew through nodes and with decorative props like this is insane. Like, this is so useful for me. Just so happy with this. What an update. What an update. And again, if we're happy with it everywhere, okay, you can simply just copy and paste all of your rules onto the markings over this side if you wanted to, like we did earlier. So it's all copy and pasted. We can copy the entire intersection and then drop it onto this one and paste it, and then our pattern continues. Okay, so good. Let's carry on. Let's do this one, and we can paste it again, and there we go. It's in. It's all decorated, and it's all IMT, and it's amazing. My word, this has to be in City Skylines too. This is like so game changing. So yeah, there you go. Amazing, right? Truly amazing. However, guys, that is going to do it for today. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave me a like and a comment below. Equally as much if you find it totally useless, then leave me a dislike as well. A really cool quality of life upgrade for the intersection marking tool for those of us that use it on the PC. But it's a huge quality of life update for IMT, the ability to chew through less nodes now by having the option to put fencing along a road with intersection marking tool. It's just so cool, and there's endless variations of this. You know, whatever props, decorative networks and trees you've got in your game, downloaded from the workshop, they will all apply to IMT. Just so cool. so cool. Just, yeah, the ability to save nodes is a huge help for my cities, where we know that we have actually hit the node count before once in our cities. So the ability just to save them like this, super cool. Of course, endless variations of this. Really just can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Please feel free to share pictures in the Discord, of course. But otherwise, let me know what you think of it. I think it's one of the best quality of life updates IMT, and indeed any of the mods has had for a long time. Just how great and how far this game has come, right? But let me know what you think of it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll shut up and I'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.